All right, so in this class, we're going to show how to put the Flexitrunk on to a bubble CPAP system while the baby is inside the incubator. So I've shown a number of videos on how to do it outside the incubator, but inside the incubator has different difficulties. So we will go through that in this class, be relatively thorough on how to put this on. I have an assistant with me. His name is Thomas. He's going to be playing the role of the RN, and I'll be playing the role of the RT, and I'll be directing him as we go along. So Thomas has never worked with me before on this, and the reason why we set up that way is to show you how easy it is when you just do simple commands. I'm also going to bring in this Tortle bonnet. The second time when we set it up with the mask, we're going to start, or with the prongs, we're going to start with the mask first, and when we swap out to the prongs, we'll swap out the bottom as well. A lot of people like to use that bonnet, and I want to show how to do that at one. So let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, we have a baby here. We've already sized all the parts with this baby. So we have the bonnet picked out, we have the prongs and mask picked out, we have the nasal tubing picked out. So how can we put this on so it's really easy? The best way to do it is to have two people putting on the interface. So first things first, we took the head circumference. Baby's head circumference is 27. The bonnet is a 25 to 29. So I'm going to take the bonnet, open it all the way up, and then I'm going to give it a nice stretch. Okay, so I've stretched it out, and let's go ahead and move this roll out of the way. And I'm going to bring the bonnet to the baby's eyebrows. Now, this is a difficult position. So if Thomas takes his finger and places it in the center of the baby's head, just like so, that locks that in place, so I can now slide the bonnet underneath, and he's not really helping me on this side. He's just locking in place, and I can drag my side in. Then I can lock here, and he can drag his side in, making sure that the bonnet completely covers the ear. So the reason why you take in turn is when you're both trying to do it simultaneously, the bonnet kind of slides around, and it's very difficult to do. All right, so we have the bonnet in place. The ears should be totally covered. Mine's covered. Thomas, is yours covered?
Yes.
Okay, great. Take the strap and stretch it all the way out to the side. All right, this Velcro here will stick to everything, so stretching it all the way out to the side will make it a lot easier. All right, so as we stated, we're going to start with the mask. Always remember that when you go to the mask, you have a foam strip. So I have this foam strip. Everything is kept in this little specimen jar with the baby so that you can use them at your disposal. So when sizing with the ruler, always take the bottom bar of the mask and hold it to the center of the baby's lip. Don't bring it up high, don't bring it down low, don't try to make it work. Center it and then see where the sides land, making sure that they don't touch the tip of the nose or the eyes. I like the medium one on this. When I do that with the small and I center it, you can see how it's touching the tip of the nose. I don't like that. Or when I go to the large, when I center the lip, it's touching the eye. I don't like that, so this baby is a medium. Okay, so before we connect the interface, let's go ahead and connect it to the circuit. I've plugged in the mask here. Can you see everything okay? Good. Taken my foam strip. Now, let's assume that I had the bubbler on, and as soon as I place the mask on the baby's face, Thomas is going to take the index finger of his right hand, hold it right there, take his other hand, place it on the baby, and what is the baby getting right now when he does that? The baby is getting CPAP. And so now we can slow down. We don't have to worry about bringing in any other kind of CPAP with the T-piece. Thomas is focused on his job of maintaining CPAP with the baby, and I can go ahead and put the bonnet on. So we have this blue glide bar where we have a hook here and a hook here, and I have a back-to-back D-ring like so. So I'm just going to stabilize the blue glide bar and click that in place. Then I'm going to hold here. We're going to swap out. Go ahead and release, Thomas. I'll hold the baby and he'll do his side. Once he's done, he's not going to tighten. He's going to take back control of the baby. So put your hand there. And then I am going to tighten this. Now this is a little bit trickier because we're trying to put our hand into the incubator. Notice how my fingers are free. So I'll ask Thomas, do I have the strap all the way down to the jawline? Below the ear?
You do now, yeah.
Okay, great. I'll center that up. and connect like so. And he's going to confirm that's below the earlobe.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and release. And I'm going to take the mask and I'm going to center that right into the lip of the baby. You want to make sure that it's connected to Velcro here, that it's centered, that there's a gentle frown, and that this is balanced, and I'm loving it. All right, so let's take our blanket, and the blanket is going to go underneath where your circuit connects to the interface. This can be the heaviest portion of this entire setup, and we want to make sure that from here to here is parallel with the bed so that no water collects, or the main goal is we want to give enough slack so the baby can move his or her head and it's not pulling on the interface onto their face. And so it's being supported with this blanket. And then from here going down, see how it's going through this bottom corner hole, the side corner hole in the bottom opening? The water, as it starts to condense, will slide down this direction and back into the bubbler, which is okay for it to do that. Okay, now let's go ahead and swap to the prongs. So when we're ready to swap again, let's say to 4 to 6 hours, Thomas is going to go ahead and go back to the position of hand here and hand there. When you take this off, remove one Velcro strip here. If I can't release, I can go ahead and grab that and say, hey, Thomas, can you get that Velcro strip on your side? Perfect, and go ahead and detach from the blue hook. Okay, and then go ahead, hold the baby again. And then I can take this off, and now while he's holding this, I can open up, I can even take the bonnet all the way off, and the baby is getting bubble CPAP because Thomas is there, and he's not gonna smash too tight, but this entire time, the baby could be getting bubble CPAP, right? All right, so we've taken this bonnet off because I wanna bring in the other bonnet. Some RTs like to use the other one because it's a little bit easier to set up. I really like this bonnet. This is from Tortle, and this will also allow you to set up a bubble CPAP system. So when we're switching to it, notice this is also based on head circumference. This bonnet is a 22 to 30. Baby has a 27 centimeter head. So what we're gonna do is just kind of slide the baby's head underneath. So you can lift up the baby just a little bit, and we're gonna slide it. Now you wanna make sure that these cushions are touching the shoulders of the baby. So if it's not touching in the shoulder, just go ahead and tug yours down. I'll hold here and you can tug that down. All right, perfect. And then hold that back in place. This here is, I'm gonna have you just lift that up slightly up in the air, just your baby, that right slightly up in the air, just like that. Okay. And then I'm going to put this back right on here. And if you could attach, there's a Velcro where you're at, right on this strap. Go ahead and attach that to the top. It's underneath. It's connected underneath. There you go. And of course, it's Velcro, so it's sticking to everything. All right. And just lay it down the top of the bonnet. Just like so. So that's how that bonnet goes on. And again, we'll take these straps and we'll stretch them all the way out like this. Now this bonnet comes with a connector. It looks like so. Lift that up for me real quick. Just the whole thing. There you go. Just go ahead and take the whole thing off. It'll make it easier to show this portion. Hold that foam strip with that. That connects in like that. Go ahead and put the foam strip and the mask right back on. There you go. And just place your finger right like so, and your other hand on the body of the baby. There we go. And this opens up. And this one comes over the top. And now we have a bonnet ready to go, just like so. Voila. And then we'll connect with this here, like this. And then you're going to connect with your side, and I'll hold here. It's really tight. Yeah, you got to undo the Velcro, See how the Velcro is rolled back on itself?
Oh, is it with this?
Yep. There you go. I'll hold that for you. And you can see this whole time. Now, go ahead. Actually, why don't you tighten it this time?
Okay.
So both at the same time. So one hand there, and connect. Now we want to center up the blue glide bar, so you have a little bit of a twist. So untwist it in there. There you go. And we'll center up this blue glide bar. Try that again. Just a little bit more on your right hand. Center that. There you go. Just like that. And that's how that should look. And that's the other ball. If you want to move the baby into prone, this bonnet comes with this nice little strap like this. And what this is designed for is when we move the baby into sideline, these basically, you have these two cushions in the back of the head. It'll hold that in place, and you can flex the knees so it acts like a kickstand so that the nose lines up with the navel and the knees. This is a nice little cushion. Oh, perfect, thanks. Yeah. And then he could put a bedroll like so. What we want to make sure is that we lower this a little bit and bring this down so that that is parallel with the ground. And then if we want to move into a partial prone, let's say if you have an arm up, let's bring, this baby's a little bit stiff. We'll go like this and then go ahead and tuck the roll back underneath like that. And then let's adjust this here. And bring this down. Like so. So it's supported. And my baby has ink all over it. I apologize in advance. All right, let's go ahead and start. So now what we're going to show you is let's change from the mask to the prongs. And this is important because what we're going to really focus on is measuring the correct prong size. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have my assistant Thomas here. He's going to stabilize the baby, stabilize that, and I can go ahead. Notice how I always take the Velcro off whenever I change interfaces. And the reason why we do that is because when we go between a prong and mask, they're of different heights. So you have to make sure you adjust that because they are going to be a different size. And so you need to make sure that the straps are adjusted accordingly. So he's holding that in place. I take this top portion off and I'll say, okay, I'm ready to swap. Go ahead and release. He releases. Now, we'll already know this, but you should size ahead of time. So let's back up a little bit and let's size this and figure out what's the correct size. So when you look at this ruler, we have the 11 pairs of dots. And what we're trying to do when we size is go for 100% occlusion, go as large as we possibly can go. And you'll notice there's part numbers underneath each pair of dots. Those part numbers are actually a metric system sizing. So for example, a 40-30 actually means a 4 millimeter nair width and a 3 millimeter septal width. So a 45-40 would be a 4.5 millimeter nair width and a 4 millimeter septal width. What's that telling you? Is that the nair goes up 0.5 millimeter on each size on the first 5 sizes. That's not that much. So don't be afraid to get ready to go the next size when necessary. All right, so hold the dots up to the baby's nose. Let's go for a visual occlusion of 100%. I love the way that looks. Just to go down one size, you could see that there's a little spacing in between that dot. That's going to cause problems for us if we choose that one. This is the one we like. This one is too big, but be prepared to go up to that next one. So the 45-40 should be on hand because the nose will dilate, and we'll talk about that in a minute. All right. So if you go to my other YouTube channel, or other YouTube video where we basically talk about how to put these prongs on, it's on this YouTube channel. So when you have the prongs ready to go, go ahead and dip them into sterile water. A lot of people will use saline bullets and go ahead and lubricate the end, or Aquaphor. And then we place one prong into the nair furthest away from you, and then tuck the other prong into the nair closest to you. Slide it in. As soon as we do that, what does Thomas do? Places his finger right there, holds the baby. Baby's getting bubble CPAP again. I'm very happy. So So we bring the strap here, one right over the top. Oop. Let me move this back a little bit. There we go. I like that more centered. Right over the top. And I'm going to stretch this out to the side, stabilize the blue glide bar. I'm going to hold this in place. He's going to do his end. Stabilize the blue glide bar. Bam. He holds the baby. And then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to tighten. Bring the straps down to the jawline and boop. Centered below the on the jawline, and the blue glide bar centered. You can go ahead and release. Now bring the video camera over here and take a look at the prongs on the side. And notice how much they're sticking out. They can actually stick out as much as that. And that's about 5 millimeters, 4 to 5 millimeters. The reason why is as long as it's bubbling, it could stick out that far. And if it's bubbling, the baby is getting CPAP. What we don't want it to look like is that. Now, if it's doing that, and if you slide this out a few millimeters and it slides back in, what's the problem? The prongs are too small. They could be small for a couple of reasons. One, if you didn't use the ruler, chances are good they're really too small. Eyeball guesstimation rarely works, and you're usually off about 2 to 3 sizes. Also, if a baby's been on the system for a full 24 hours, their nose can dilate, so that's why you need to have another prong size and be prepared to go up to that next prong size if the nose is dilated. If you use the Neotech product, please only use one strip, because you want to be able to see some of the prongs sticking out of the nose, making sure that we are maximizing the CPAP giving to the baby. And that is use of the prongs. Go.